Good morning and welcome back to the channel. It's first thing in the morning. I'm about to dig a lot of holes today. So do you know what I need? Not the breakfast. I just need the coffee. Let's get this day started. Hello, hello. Nothing like a nice hot coffee first thing in the morning to get the old blood pumping, followed by immediately digging many holes. So I now have, what did I count earlier, is it 29 holes to dig? So a couple of following videos have been me like discussing how to go about it, what size holes you want to dig, how far down you want to go, the tools to use to do it. The irony being, of course, all this rain that we've had, which has made the ground sloppy and horrible, also helps because it makes it softer. So ironically, I prefer to dig in these conditions than say in the middle of summer when the ground is like rock hard solid. You can still get into it, it just takes a lot more effort. So as per yesterday, we now have, we've got 7 supports at the front, 7 at the back, 2 either side, and there's 2 of the big 24M supports over there. And yesterday from Tool Station I picked up 3 12mm, which is absolutely fine because everything else is base supported. They're just there to aid in the center, no bother at all. So yes, I'll be digging these and I shall show you how I go about doing that about now. Right, time to dig some holes. So this isn't a complex part of the job. It is sometimes a bit of a bugger because you never know what you're going to hit. There's going to be bricks, stones, there's always all kinds of stuff you kind of end up coming across. But the thing that makes your life a little bit easier is having the right tools again, a bit like everything I suppose, but the particular things that are going to make this life job a lot easier is one of these. So a post hole digger, beautiful, and I cannot stress this one enough, grafter shovel. Okay, so as you can see, lovely tapered edge, nice and thin and slightly rounded as well. So as you kind of go in, it's already creating the shape that you're looking for. General rule of thumb with these is you're going to want to at least be about sort of 500mm, half a metre down. Sometimes you're going deeper across the course. Some of them are a bit shallower, just depending what you hit and what you come across. I get the feeling to be quite soft, so we'll easily get to 500 on most of these. This will make it a nice sort of neat hole, so you should be looking at about 200mm wide. It doesn't need to be much wider than that. If it goes a bit wider, it doesn't matter. But you know, the wider and bigger you make the hole, the more concrete it's going to take to fill the hole. So 200mm is perfect. That gives you all the concrete you need to give you the stability to hold the structure up. Perfect. So a little trick is to grab one of these over here. So just get yourself, it's not got to be one of these, but a stick or whatever. Because we've marked it, I know through the centre, which is there, just a little mark there, I then just pin that out the way to the side, because nothing worse than trying to dig a hole and trying to keep the string line out the way. And then simply get a little mark, start getting a little circle shape made, just so you can kind of see what you're doing, and then just have at it. It's quite exciting digging the first hole. There's going to be a lot of roots in here because there was actually a vegetable patch and stuff, so there's going to be a lot of few bits and pieces kicking around in here. But once you kind of get the shape going, and that's just digging into that beautifully. Now the reason I'm sort of going up here and shoving down is, if you have got roots that are in there, you're going to start slicing through those as you go. So you know, it's like I'm basically just trying to create the shape before then trying to extract stuff. But once you've kind of given that a little go around, that is where this bad boy comes in handy. So literally shove it in hole, pinch together, done. I'm not trying to sort of scoop it out with that. Let this do the work. And to be fair as well, if you end up with nice soil, once you kind of started it, this sometimes will actually do the whole excavation for you. But we'll see what it does. So, and keep digging. Like I say, for some people, this is not the part of the job they enjoy. I don't mind it. nothing else, keeps you bloody fit. I was a bit chilly walking up here this morning, but I knew as soon as you start doing this sort of graft, that goes away quite quick. Okay, so I'll just grab a tape measure. Like I say, we're looking for about sort of 500 mil deep. So we are at 400, so not too shabby. So kind of got a bit tougher down there. So just send the graft to shovel in, loosen it off a little bit. I'm going to widen it up a little bit at the bottom as well, because what you can find is they become conical shapes you go in. So just want to make sure you kind of get them so it's like level sides all the way down. This sword is lovely for digging. And you can see there, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it's becoming a bit yellow. So basically we're hitting like clay and a bit of sand, and that's perfect. Once you kind of get down to that sort of level, clay is brilliant because clay is dense, it's thick, and it supports weight perfectly. So once you kind of get to that point, you know you're on great footing for your post to go in. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is really nice actually. Right. Excited about clay. Living a dream. Right, let's have a little looky. So that is now pretty much 500. So let me go grab the camera so you can have a little look. So, come over, straight over the top. How nice is that? How neat is that as well? So if I just pick it up so you can see that yellow, so that's the clay, that's sand. That is flipping beautiful. So what I'll do, obviously once I've dug the rest, is take out this bad boy, stick it in the hole like so, like that, and then if you can just see, so the reason we raise up this plate 6 inches is so that you've got concrete underneath it. That then sits up, so the whole thing is encased in concrete. It can't go anywhere, and the weight of the building can't push this down and sort of pile drive it. And as you can see, you can have a nice bit above here, and especially for this client because she would like to raise the building slightly, so we've got all that adjustment to raise the building up. So absolutely great solution. Let me just put you back on the mount. Wow, that's interesting. There you go, see? I told you, you never know what you're going to come across. So we've actually got a brick pavement just here. So basically, I'll just have a little nose and see if I can't get 1 or 2 up. There you go. Once you get under the first one, it'll make life a bit easier. Here we go. There she goes. Oh, get rid of that one. Don't want that one. There we go. That one. I suspect this one is probably also in the way. So get that well with that, like that. Lovely. Right, now just put the string line back again. Do a little mark, just so I know where the centre of my line is going to have to be. Pin out the weight, and then crack on again. So another little top tip as well when you're digging out your holes is if you have, so like this stuff is really, really clay. So what it's doing is, as I put my post one in to pick it out, I'm ending up with like that stuck in there. So you get yourself a wheelbarrow, give it a bit of a whack, clean, makes it a bit easier. And the other thing about having like the wheelbarrow there is what I'll start doing is, instead of just slinging this stuff onto my site and getting in my way and making it a bit mucky, I will in fact just load it straight into there. So as I'm hooking chucking out, straight in there, and I'll dump that round the back. So that way, I've got all my holes dug, I haven't got an excess of soil just tripping over it. Perfect, job done. Again, just keeping your site clean and tidy as you kind of go about your job makes your life easier, not then sort of necessarily tripping over stuff, which is always a pain. And as you saw in this last video, like I said, you never know what you're going to come across. So there is actually a path that runs across here, and luckily it's not big slabs, because otherwise normally you'd have to like dig out the whole slab, get underneath the lift. But this is bricks, so I could just take out the 4 or so bricks that are in the way, pull them out of the way, and chuck it. But I'm hitting a lot of clay, which is great. But what you can also see, I'll bring it down this way again, is, there you go, there's the water table. So all that rain and stuff, that water's just sat there, done. So where I've dug the hole out, the water's come back through the soil and it's just soaking in. And the answer is, no, it doesn't affect the concreting. It doesn't care. So, yeah. So a bit of water in there won't hurt anybody. Slot my concrete in, put the rod in, wiggle it around, top it up, done. That won't stop it drying. You put concrete into the ocean or a river or whatever, bag of it, it's still going to go off. You can't stop that chemical reaction. So yeah, if you tried, you couldn't. So right, I'm going to crack on. I'll put a time lapse on this so you can sort of see me do all this sort of stuff, and then hopefully just see a bit of a routine of what I do. Perfect. Result. So one of the drops that I was expecting yesterday did turn up. So that was my concrete fence panels and gravel boards, which is here now. Oh, lovely, jubbly, Vera's rocking horse. And literally the other one that I was expecting yesterday, which didn't turn up, but now has, is my P5 boarding. So this will be the actual floor for the garden room. So this will be on the inside of it. And then the LVT, not LVT, we're going for laminate, we'll go on top of this, there'll be an underlay on top. Perfect. Now, when you do any sort of builds, it's very important that, you know, you are working in inclement weather. We live in Britain, these things happen. But you want to keep this as dry as you can, okay? But in saying that, it is not the end of the world, because this stuff will stay dry. Okay, so it's got like, I think it's about 6 weeks it can stay out in inclement weather and stuff like that. So it's designed to be outdoors, no problem at all. But I protect it where I can. So I'll take this up to the top, I'll put some tarp over the top of it, and then what I'll also do is once I've laid it, I will still cover it every night as well where I can, up until I get the walls up, and then it'll have to get wet if it's going to rain until I get the roof on. But yeah, so I always pay that little bit extra to have the stuff that is actually waterproof and protected. Top tip. Well, I'll tell you what, I ain't cold anymore. Right, while I recover from that lot and grab a quick cup of tea in my now world famous DeWalt 30-ounce cup. Was it 50? I don't know, but this thing holds a lot. I thought I'd quickly give you another quick guide of the site and like how I've set it up, why I've set it up, because now that most of the sort of ground materials are in, it kind of makes a bit more sense now. So, as you saw a second ago, we've got the flooring, which is now buried nicely under here. So essentially, at the bottom, I've got my 18mm OSB. On top of that, I've got my 11mm OSB, which will be for the walls. On top of that, I've got my flooring. And on top of that, I've got my bags of cement and postcrete as well. Now, the reason I've laid it that way is because obviously, I'm digging my holes now. I'll put my rods in, so that's the cement taken into the holes done. Then, if we come over to the timber section, I feel like I've got a timber yard now. 4x3s on top, so that'll make the perimeter. That's what the rods will actually sit on. So that'll be them gone, cement off of there, they'll all be gone. Then that means I can then get the flooring, which is on the top, straight off, nothing in the way. That'll go straight onto there, boom. The floor joists, Oh, the next one's down underneath there. Do you see what I mean? It's just the layering system will make it easier. If I'd buried all that stuff in the reverse order, I'd have a right arse having to shift everything out over and over again. So site layout is very important just to kind of make sure you're going to get the most out of it. And it will honestly speed you up no end. Even the joist hangers, look, down by this tree, ready to just go in once the rods are in, the 4x3, and now I can start cracking on and getting on with that as well. Everything to hand, everything in order, everything where you need it to be to make your life simple. So that's it, right? I'm gonna finish that cup of tea and then I'm gonna dig a few more holes. Okay, so there's another thing that I say when you kind of dig in, you're going to find stuff. There's a tree right here, so you've got tree roots which are kind of in the way. Now, there's several ways of getting rid of these things, and it depends on the thickness and kind of the angles that it's kind of working at. But another tool, there's that path again. Another tool that is really quite useful is one of these. So I'm not exactly sure what it's called because it's got a slightly sharpened edge on it. And once you know where kind of the root is, so that's there, you can literally just keep hammering away and that's me through that root. So I think it's probably about sort of that thick, maybe like 1.5 to 2 inches. So it just goes a little bit. That just literally will help you slice through any roots that are like that. Now obviously that's fantastic, but it doesn't always do for the bigger roots. So when you do come across those bigger roots, what you end up having to do is get like a little shovel. You want to kind of get as much of it cleared out as possible, and then what you want to do is get a fine tool with a nice little blade on it, and you can just stick it in the hole and cut away it. No, that wasn't an impression of a bee, but if I come across one that I need that on, I'll show you that. The other one is that's quite useful, is a reciprocating saw, which is basically just a long machine with a sort of blade that comes out about that far and just rotates backwards and forwards like that. So you literally just grab it, put it in the hole and just down. It depends on the size of the hole and where the thing is to try and get the angle. The fine tool sometimes does a better job. But yeah, so if you come across roots, one of these, they're not that expensive. And then if you wanted a fine tool, you can get one from like tool stations, Screwfix, whatever, dirt cheap. And at the end of the day, when you're building one of these, fine tools come in very handy anyway, so it's well worth the investment. So yeah, another little tip there on how to get over roots and other bits and pieces you come across. So, job. So, there we have the end of the day. Being a cracking one, absolutely cracking. So basically, it doesn't look impressive. I know it's not like seeing the building half built and stuff, but very, very, very important. Foundational, some might say. Yes, that's right, I went there. Anyway, now, holes dug. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. So now you can see, so do you see that the string line is to the center of the hole? So that way when I put my rod in, I'll then just butt it up just till it's touching. And the same for all of these, which then means that I know they're in one line. Leveled off, beautiful, job done. So, how have I done? A lot. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes, give or take, left to dig. It was generally quite easy going. Like I said, right, getting rid of the waste straight away. So as I dig a hole straight into the wheelbarrow, straight around the back, means I'm not walking in clay and shite and horribleness, which just makes your boots clumpy and you're walking around like Frankenstein's monster. So, I mean, yeah, they're still dirty, but look at that. That's not like covered in loads of crap, which I love. So again, clean site really, really helps. So that is it for the day. If you enjoyed this little update, then please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, because it really does help me out massively. So I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. If you've got any questions, pop a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If I can help you out, I will. Right, that is it. I probably won't be back on this site tomorrow. I've got to go back to the previous garden room, and now that the sparky's finished there, I can get the internals completely finished. A bit of sealant, that sort of stuff just to finish off, and then I'll be back on here on Monday but I'm coming mob-handed. Yeah, that's right, I'm bringing 2 other people with me. So my old man and his work partner. They both trained me when I was like 16 years ago. And yeah, so they're gonna come in, we're gonna finish off digging holes, we'll get all the rods put in. So Monday will be one of those days where all of a sudden things will just go really quick, because you know, 3 blokes doing this, we'll have all the rods in and cemented in, done that day, and possibly get some holes dug ready for the post at the back as well. But we'll see what the weather's doing, we'll see how we get on. Either way, it's gonna be nice to have some company. See you later, guys. Bye.